You are asking, is it safe to overclock with Pico power supply? So I have a 160 watt Pico power supply here. You guys can see right here. I'm running this system of the Pico power supply with 160 watt. Now, what's really important, what you need to keep in mind, you can pick up a 160 watt Pico power supply. I think for like for $17, 16 or $17. But what really matters, you have to remember that you need a good AC power adapter. Right? So the one I'm using here, let me just show you guys. So this one is a 12 volt, okay, and 15 amp. So this one is basically a 180 watt AC power adapter. If you use like 12 volt and a 10 amp AC adapter, then you will have a lot of problem like crashing middle of the maybe game or while you're using the computer under load. So make sure what you need to do, you need to get yourself a good AC power adapter, because that's really important. I paid for this one. It's a like I say, it's a 12 volt 15 amp. It was around $31. You can find one in eBay. This one is really good. That's a 180 watt, and also the Pico power supply I'm using, that's a 160 watt. All right, and the motherboard I'm using, if you guys want to know, this Biostar X370 GTN motherboard, one of the best ITX motherboard. That's all I can say, and you guys will see why I'm saying that. So let me show you. So if you guys are wondering, I managed to overclock the Ryzen 2200G using the Biostar X370 GTN motherboard all the way up to like 4.1 gigahertz, and I'll show you real quick and then we'll jump into the BIOS. So you guys can see I have basically, so you guys can see here, so I managed to overclock the motherboard. Well, I managed to overclock this Ryzen 2200G to 4 gigahertz, 4.25 gigahertz with 1.38 volt, and then with 4.1, that's 4.1 gigahertz with 1.43 volt, and then 4.125 with 1.47 volt. Now I do not recommend you guys go all the way up to like 1.47 volt. Okay, that's really, I don't recommend. I don't think that's safe for like that's kind of pushing your CPU. But the only way I managed to achieve that, you guys can see that's a stable overclock with that 1.47 volt. Okay, now currently I'm running the system at like 4 gigahertz, 4.25 gigahertz at 1.38. So if we look at the CPU Z real quick, we'll just close that. So if you look at CPU Z real quick, you guys can see 1.38 to 1.39, hardly goes up to like 1.4, but it's just stable at like, I think like 1.38 volt or 1.39 max, right? And you guys can see 4 gigahertz overclock times 40 right there. And real quick, we can run Cinebench, and then we'll jump into BIOS and I'll show you guys how to overclock using like if you have a Biostar X370 GTN motherboard. So let me just run Cinebench real quick, multi-thread, so you guys can see. And the system is really stable. The only reason, like, okay, so one thing you need to remember for Ryzen, okay, in order for you to like overclock in any Ryzen CPU to maybe 4 gigahertz or like 4.1 gigahertz, I never managed to overclock any of my Ryzen to like 4.2. I had a Ryzen 1700. I managed to overclock to like 3.9. I couldn't even stable the overclock at like 4 gigahertz. That's like my first Ryzen 2200G CPU, like the Ryzen CPU. I managed to overclock all the way up to 4.1 gigahertz and stable. So you guys can see. but that's because of this cooler. Okay, this Riven Justice cooler is really good. This cooler goes for around like I think $46, under $50. It's a great cooler. You guys can see there's a 6 heat pipe running from, you know, like all the way from right to left, you know, from the heat plate to both side. And this cooler is really good, and I'll show you guys the temperature. So you guys can see at 4 gigahertz multi-core Cinebench score, CPU score is around 610. And I did, can I save that? I say something wrong. And Geekbench score with like 4 gigahertz overclock. The single core 4371, and the multi-core 11949. That's really good. See, anything like if you have a single core, anything like more than like 4000, you're perfectly fine. Even at like 3500, but I do prefer CPU with like at least 4000, then you are up there, you know. You shouldn't see any lag or anything while you're gaming and stuff. Let's just jump into CPU Z again, because I want to show you guys. Let's go to bench, and let's benchmark this CPU, and then we'll just compare with like different CPUs there. Then you guys can see. So you guys can see, actually, you know what, let's do it again, because I have the fraps, because I was gaming right before the live stream. So all right, so let's just go to bench right now, and then bench CPU. So you guys can see, you know, those CPU multi-thread is around like 1800, not bad. And then the single around 463, not bad. And you guys can see our multi-thread ratio 3.92. Okay, and let's compare this CPU with like i5 7600. So you guys can see, so i5 7600 basically the single core is around 480, and then for the Ryzen 2200G it's around 463. That's not bad at all. And then you guys can see multi-core also not too bad, right? All right, so let's just jump into the BIOS real quick, because I want to show you guys, you know, like if you have a Biostar X370 GTN motherboard, ITX motherboard, and you're planning on overclocking your Ryzen CPUs, if you have a 2200G like mine. Actually, I got a very good deal on this motherboard. I picked up this motherboard from Newegg. It was on sale for $64, brand new Biostar motherboard. And Biostar motherboard is a great motherboard. I love Biostar motherboards. So you guys can see right now, we are in the BIOS right now, okay? And let's just go all the way to 1. All right, and then you guys can see here CPU clock auto. I didn't play around with that. Okay, you can just leave that at auto. Okay, and then you guys can see CPU ratio set to 4 gigahertz, 4.25, and then we have the voltage set to, so let me just go down here. Okay, so you guys can see plus 0.020, right? So that's kind of like an offset. That's how, you know, the setting. So so that's offset voltage, right? So that's kind of like offset plus voltage, right? So that's around 1.38, okay, volt. Okay, so for 4 gigahertz Ryzen 3200G, around 1.38 volt, perfectly fine. But then again, it will depend on basically your CPU, your luck. If your CPU have a better silicon. I managed to overclock the memory to 2933. I have the Corsair Vengeance LPX 3000, but I can't manage to hit 3000 because there is no option for 3000. Let me just show you guys. Okay, there's like 2933, and then after that there's like 3200. So there's no choice. So I was like, you know, it's okay. 2933 stable. Like if I go to 32, the system does crash whenever I'm like playing the games and stuff like Overwatch or any other game. So like I'm not playing. All right. Another thing, if you have like a Ryzen 3 2200G or Ryzen 5 2400G, there is one thing you need to do. I don't know if every other motherboard is same, but you have to go to your NOT bridge, and then you have to go GFX configuration, and then you can see here UMA frame buffer size, right? Okay, you need to set UMA buffer size. I think by default set to like 1 gig, but you need to change that and set to, no, by default I think set to auto, right? You need to change that to 2 giga, okay, 2 gigs, because that's all you can do with like the intricate graphics that Ryzen 2200G have, or the Ryzen 2400G. So just set that to 2 gig, okay, UMA frame buffer size, and also primary video device, you need to change that to IGD video. By default set to NV, that's not PCI slot video, but you need to change that to IGD video. If you don't do that, what are you gonna see? You're gonna see like a lot of flickering going on while you're gaming, so you need to change that. Now I want to show you guys that I'm not just lying to you guys. I did manage to hit 4.1 with this Ryzen 2200G. So what I'll do, I'll just go to one right here, and then set this to 41.25, and then go to voltage. That's the problem. I did manage to overclock the CPU to 4.125 gigahertz. That's, you know, like yeah, that 4.125 right here. Okay, 4.125 gigahertz. But then I have to set the voltage all the way up like 1.47, and I'll show you guys. This overclock is definitely stable. So 4.125 gigahertz, and RAM still set to 2933, and the voltage is plus 0.100. That's basically, that's an offset voltage, right? So offset both voltage plus 0.100, that's around 1.47 volt. Okay, so we are good here. And I don't recommend you guys to, you know, set your voltage that high, but order for me to show you guys, I have to, because I did test before, and that's the only way I can make the system run stable. I have no other choice. All right, we boot him back up, and we run Cinebench for you guys, and then we run to CPU-Z, the benchmark thing, and I'll show you guys. But now if I do change this cooler and I put it like a different cooler, and if the temperature is little higher, it will crash. That's why you do need like a good cooler order to like overclock this Ryzen 2200G. I definitely recommend liquid cooler, but even air cooler like Riven Justice, perfectly fine. They got the PC Master Race theme going on, so you can't go wrong right here. Okay, and remember, I'm using the Pico power supply, 160W Pico power supply with the 12 volt 15 amp AC power adapter. You do need a higher AC power adapter so the Pico power supply will run stable. Just remember that this is very, very important, okay? 160W. All right, now that we did boot up, let's just jump in and let me show you guys. So you guys can see here 4.1 gigahertz, but then again the voltage is really high, so we're sitting at 1.47. Now remember, this Ryzen CPU, whenever you are overclocking to like 4 point, like anything more than 4 gigahertz, you are going to hit like a huge amount of voltage. So that's just normal and that's gonna happen. But if we look at the temperature, okay, so we're sitting at 4.1 gigahertz, and then if we go to Ryzen master, okay, so if we go to Ryzen master and we look at the idle temp, is really good. So we're sitting around like 30 Celsius. That's not bad at all. And you guys can see all 4 core, okay, 4.125 gigahertz, okay. And I'll show you guys, I'll run like IDA 64 so you guys could see that the system doesn't throttle down. So that's one good thing. Alright, so we'll just run IDA 64 for you guys. So we go to clock and then start. So now we have IDA 64. Basically we are stress testing the CPU at 4.125 gigahertz. The system is running at 4.25, but it's showing here like 4122, but it's okay. We can confirm here the overclock 4.125, okay. And you can see here, and system is so quiet. Like this cooler is so quiet, if you guys want to purchase one of this cooler, you guys can watch my review video, Raven Justice RC1204, I think that's the model. It's a great cooler. This cooler managed to beat my Kyric H5 cooler, so I was really surprised because Raven, they're not as big as like Kyric, like like a brand wise, but wow, they manufacture beautiful cooler and the temps are just mind-blowing. And that's because of those 6 heat pipe you guys can see. And see, right now I'm stress testing, and you can see the temperature at 4.125 gigahertz, and look at the temperature, only 59 Celsius. I know we are testing outside, but I think even this computer in like a case, temperature will be still maybe 60, 65, 64 Celsius. If you have like a exhaust fan, intake and exhaust fan, we're perfectly fine. And you guys can see right here, the clock speed is not fluctuating at all. Set to 4122. That's it. It's a straight line. And you can see we've been running for almost 2 minutes right now. So if you guys are planning on picking up like a ITX AM4 motherboard, I do recommend you guys pick up a Biostar X370 GTN motherboard, one of the best ITX motherboard, and I think the cheapest ITX motherboard. I don't know how much this motherboard going for right now, but I picked it up when this motherboard was on sale. So let me just check. Let's just check Newegg real quick, right? So newegg.com. Now remember, order for you to use this motherboard with Ryzen 2200G or 2400G, like the 2nd gen CPU, you need to update the BIOS. So just remember that you need to update the motherboard BIOS, because that's the X370 motherboard. And if you have a Ryzen 2200G or 2400G, make sure you update the motherboard BIOS, because you have to. I'm just letting you guys know. Hold on, let's just go to Biostar X370 GTN. So let me see how much this motherboard going for right now. Oh wow, the price went up. So when I picked up the same motherboard, I paid only $64. The one thing I like about this motherboard, the Biostar X370 GTN motherboard, because most of the time this motherboard goes on sale. Like if you check out eBay, like Newegg will put a post on eBay for like $64 sometime. I even see this motherboard all the way down to like $60 sometime. So just like shop around and just keep eyes on Newegg, because this motherboard price sometimes come down all the way down to $64. Okay, so and this motherboard is the best ITX M4 motherboard. The only bad part about this motherboard doesn't have Wi-Fi, so that's why I'm using like a USB Wi-Fi adapter. That's a 2.4 gigahertz, but that's perfectly fine, you know, because you're paying like, if you get a good deal on this motherboard, who cares about Wi-Fi? You can buy those 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi from eBay, goes for like $12. So that's the motherboard I'm using, and as you guys can see, the system is running stable. We can run Valley benchmark. So let me just show you guys. So and then we'll run Valley benchmark for you guys. So you can see 4.1 gigahertz. Okay, 1.47 volt. The voltage is really high, but then again temperature is good. So let's just run Valley benchmark. So I'm gonna set everything. Okay, quality medium. I have anti-aliasing off, then 1920 by 1080. Okay, and show you guys Ryzen 2200G. All right. Actually, we should benchmark this, right? Let's just benchmark. Yep. So we are benchmarking right now Ryzen 2200G. Okay, we have the core clock overclocked to 4.125 gigahertz, and then we have the RAM overclocked to 2933, and the graphics, we didn't play around with it yet, at 1.47 voltage. The temperature, the highest temperature went up to like I think like around 61. And we are running Valley benchmark right now and see how this $100 Ryzen 2200G CPU performing. So that's Ryzen 2200G here. I think you guys can pick up, like if you have a Micro Center, I think Micro Center is selling the same CPU 2200G for $79. And trust me guys, I personally think one of the best budget CPU you can buy right now, Ryzen 2200G. You don't need to buy the Ryzen 2400G. The 2200G is like more than enough. You should be perfectly fine. I just want to show you guys the benchmark result real quick. We're running at 1920 by 1080. Okay, so that's the resolution. I think Ryzen 2200G is perfectly fine for playing like 1080p game, like if you play like Overwatch, CSGO. You cannot go wrong with Ryzen 2200G. I was getting, with the overclock, I was playing Overwatch at medium setting, 1080p, and I was getting around 80, sometimes 90 FPS. That's really good. I'm gonna try CSGO, but yeah, because I didn't play CSGO, it's been a while, so need to try CSGO. But you guys can see there is no lag or anything. Okay, it's just running stable, smooth, without any problem. And yes, running off the Pico power supply right here. Pico power supply with the adapter. Basically same as like laptop. You know how those gaming laptop come with like a big AC power adapter, and they do have like a small power supply inside the motherboard, you know, like the Pico type maybe. So that's what basically Pico did in the beginning. Is basically the same method what laptop does. And let me show you guys. So the power that's the 160 watt power supply. This thing is like, you can pick up for $16 from eBay or 17. Does come with one SATA connection, one Molex right here, you can see. And also it does come with this 6-pin, okay, and then right here 6-pin for the 4-pin for the CPU, and also is the connection for the AC adapter. So that's about as simple as that. And here is the result. That's not bad. Unison Valley benchmark, FPS 32, and then scored 1366. The minimum FPS was around 21.7, and the max FPS 53.7. And you can confirm here AMD Ryzen 3 2200G with Radeon Vega graphics at 4.1 Hz, and yep, see, 2000p. Yep, and 1920 by 1080 custom preset medium. So yes guys, I do recommend you guys, if you guys are in a budget, you're planning on picking up like a gaming PC, you're planning on building a gaming PC, go with Ryzen 2200G. You should be fine. And guys, real quick, just want to tell you guys, that was a quick update video. I just wanted to give you guys quick update what I've been doing, you know, with my Pico power supply. And also stay tuned for a couple builds I'm working on. I should have, if you guys want to see like a official overclocking guide for this Biostar X370 GTN motherboard, make sure you leave this video a big thumbs up. Also subscribe. If you guys want to see a detailed overclocking guide for Ryzen 2200G, also leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to see like the 8700K overclocking guide, also give me a thumbs up and subscribe. That's my main workstation, so I can show you guys, you know, how to properly overclock i7 8700K, and yeah, like a simple, you know, so everyone else can over. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to show you guys. I did remember I had a 4K Samsung 4K 28-inch monitor. Guys, I got rid of that monitor and I picked up a LG right here. That's the monitor right there. LG 34UM61 Ultra monitor. That's a 34-inch. Guys, this thing is huge. You guys can see here. If you guys want to see review for this monitor, let me know. I'll be more than happy. Alright guys, that should be it. Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments. Peace. See you guys next one.